All right, I am here with the one person who shoots more video and does more unedited video of every subject there is than me, Janet Aldrich, who has, I mean, if you do not know the work she has done and the degree of work she has done, then you are missing out. You are a state treasure. And Janet, you're still recording meetings and recording events. You were recording all the events today, and you actually recorded me because I couldn't record myself, so I appreciate it.
Thank you. It's nice to see you again. Yes, I recorded 500 public hearings on Beacon Hill.
And now the amazing thing was that you stayed awake for 500 hearings on Beacon Hill. But what is the difference when it was talked about today how Beacon Hill is not transparent? What is the difference when people and politicians on Beacon Hill see that they're being taped and that people can find their stuff, even if people don't go and watch it right away? How different do they act in your experience?
I have two different reactions. One is the initial reaction, which is, have you asked the chair if you can tape? Then after, it's like, oh, thank you so much, we so appreciate that. And there is no law that states I have to ask permission. Any citizen can tape a public hearing. What they have been wanting in the law states is you just simply have to notify them. So what that notification is does not require 48 hours notice, nothing, and especially on Beacon Hill when they're not under the public record law at all, which is what your cities and towns are. So the transparency part has a vulnerability when they're not under the public record law. So they don't have to take notes, they don't have to audio, they don't have to video, and they don't have to tell you they're having a public hearing, which is what happens and why when they try to pull a secret meeting, then the public find out or Howie Carr will find out, and and it becomes like the talk of the radio talk buzz for the next week. But basically, until they're under the public record law, we the citizens have to take that on ourselves. We own it because we can do it. We can get that public record, and that's what my project, the CPPR Archive Project, the Coalition to Preserve the Public Record, is about. And what my vision was in 2004 when I discovered this, that they weren't doing anything themselves, and I was like shocked, and continuously shocked for the whole 10 years. And until I realized, this was hopeless. No one was, we tried bills. I tried filing bills with Brad Hill and Bruce Tarr. I tried all kinds of things, and nothing was going to move this rock from the tomb of public records.
And that's because the more scrutiny that they have, the more accountable. And I would submit and suggest, and although some might disagree with me, that you would not have one-party rule in this state, at least not a solid, if the people understood or knew what was being done in their name.
True. So now we have cable access, which is in, local towns. We could put these videos up on cable access every time there was a public hearing. The State House has cameras set up now. They have the accessibility to tape. Why? Because the accessibility laws, when there's a public hearing for disability, they can request, and they probably would get a priority to getting a hearing taped. But so they can do the scribes. They can type everything that's going on. Everything is set up for them to be under the public record law right now as it is. But they are on another vein. They are trying to gain copyright to it.
Because once you have copyright, you can restrict who sees it and who gets it.
Absolutely, but see, it's a public works document, so this is an educational moment. Public works documents are not copyrightable. So they will forever try to change laws. There is an open meeting public record law that the Attorney General's office just had a public hearing on, and I taped it. And it's up on their channel, and they are making changes to the public record law as we speak. But the thing is, I haven't had the time to follow up on the actual fulfillment of that. So what I'm doing is I'm creating a civics class, as I stated in this meeting today, that if you want to have a civics class, follow me around. And but I believe in hands-on. This is an opportunity for the citizens to take hold of this topic. It's not boring. It is not boring. You know, if somebody likes sports, they will watch 24 hours of sports games. They'll have their friends over. They'll have a hot barbecue. But when you are interested in civics and politics, this stuff is, you know, is what you love.
And in the end, if your sports team loses or wins, it doesn't make a difference. But if laws are passed, you are required to live by them. And people, this is why what you do is so important. So where can people find your work?
Beacon Hill, flag that with 2 G's. Flag, F-L-A-G-G, that, T-H-A-T. It's a YouTube channel devoted to Beacon Hill. Now, I cover other things around town, but that is the site that I will have Beacon Hill posted on. And sometimes the meetings are, like we said today, 10 hours long. It's going to take me longer to get that footage up, but eventually it will be up on Beacon, up on that site, and it's up by date. So if you have the date of a hearing, you can usually find the footage.
Janet Aldrich, one of the great gifts to the state of Massachusetts. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.